Okay, it's on there.
I messaged everyone.
Okay. Good, good. What? We're gonna start in 1 minute.
Okay, yeah, we can start.
We can start.
Yeah. All right. So, hi everyone. Welcome to the webinar session for all potential PL for SEALNet project 2016. Uh, I think we can start off by introduce ourselves, like who we are, like all of the co-presidents. I'm Sakana, and I was a mentee for SEALNet project 2012, and I led SEALNet project 2015, and I'm a junior, and I go to school in Michigan, and I'm studying psychology. Nice to meet everyone.
Hi everyone, my name is Liam. I was the mentor for Project Vietnam 2014, and then I became project leader for this year Project Vietnam 2015, and I was an organizer for YOS 2015, and I'm a co-president this year. And I go to school in Seattle, Washington. Just finished my sophomore year, but I'm taking a gap year and I'm living in Vietnam.
Hi everyone, I'm Marsha. I'm a senior right now at MIT studying biology. I'm from Indonesia, and I haven't had the chance to go to the SEALNet project, but so I've been involved in the MIT chapter for about 3 years. So I've been involved in organizing SEALNet events at MIT, cultural events, and being the treasurer. And yeah, right now I'm the co-president for SEALNet.
You guys can go ahead and introduce yourself since there are only two of you. Shun, you can start.
Kun, you can start.
Hi everyone. My name is Kun, and I'm currently a senior student majoring in economics in Banyasastra University of Cambodia, and I'm from Cambodia, obviously. So, my CNET background, I was a mentee in Project Cambodia 2012, and then I involved in Project Cambodia 2013 by recruiting the mentee for the project, and I was also the participant in Youth Leadership Summit 2015 as well.
San.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is San. I was the core member from PV15. I'm studying IT and English at the same time, and nice to see you all today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So the way the webinar is going to work is that I'm going to start off with a bunch of frequently asked questions, and and all the co-press will answer the questions according to like their experiences, and then we can go into like Q&A time, and you guys can raise any questions or concerns that you want. So basically, right now, since we're done with the abstract and the interest form already, and hopefully by now everyone has already identified their co-leaders, and if you haven't, you need to do it now. The deadline for the proposal is November, and I have been getting a lot of questions regarding the proposal, and I just want to go over the simple structure of the proposal and share like our experiences of how we wrote the proposal when we led the project. Good.
Good.
Okay. So, Liam, do you have a proposal open up, like your proposal?
The guideline?
No, your proposal for your
Oh,
project.
my proposal.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why you need it?
Just go over it a little bit and like explain like the structure of it.
Okay. Oh. Well, the structure is pretty self-explanatory. First, you're gonna write an executive summary, which kind of sum up your project in a very concise way. When I read the executive summary, I should have a pretty clear idea of what your project is about, what you will do, but not too detailed. That just like the very basic essence of the project, and it's very important not just for us reading it, but for you too, because if you project leader, if you cannot identify the idea, the core idea, and the essence of your project, then like people who read it can't either. So it's very important that you write this section very carefully and think over it, because it will be like the base of the whole entire project. The next one is community problem. So you should by now you should have done some research over the community problem in your own country that you want to solve, and kind of give us a very well researched, very well thought out understanding of why you think that is a problem that you need to solve. So we need to see like statistic. Yeah, statistic. I cannot say
Statistics.
yeah, statistic. That show that is indeed a problem that we need to solve. So we need to be convinced by your research and your understanding of the problem to be convinced that this project is needed to be carried out. What is that?
Hello, sorry.
Okay. The object, what? I don't know if the objective is here, because my proposal, I kind of did my proposal a little differently than the guideline. And that is a good point I want to raise up to the guideline. It's just a guideline. It's just there to guide you, but feel free to go beyond or like less if needed to, depend on like how you want to express your project best. So for me, after a community problem, I identify the objective of my project. So it's kind of how do I say this? It's kind of take up the executive summary, but kind of expand more on in terms of like the goal that I'm trying to achieve, the very tangible goal that I want to the project to accomplish. So a very useful tool for you in this section to identify your goal is something called SMART, the SMART structure. So SMART stands for like specific, measurable, achievable, and R stands for something I forgot. The last one is timely, relevant. So it needs to be I'm sorry, reasonable?
Reasonable?
I think relevant.
Relevant, yeah, relevant, yeah, thank you, Kun. We talked about that in YOS. And yeah, please research the Google Smart, because it will be very beneficial for you to identify your goal. You don't want to be too lofty. You don't want to be, oh, I want to make an impact. You need to be very specific and tangible. So yeah, that is the objective section. The approach, this one is in the guideline. And in the approach, there are two things. The one is leadership component. The second is the service component. And SEALNet, for SEALNet project, this is what makes SEALNet unique, is that we blend leadership and service. So it's always both things that go together. So you need to carry out your idea under the structure. And leadership, I kind of lay out what my vision is for how I want my member to take away the leadership message that I believe in. So this one, you have to talk very carefully with your co-leader to decide, because on leadership, there are so many aspects of leadership. So you need to be very clear, the both of you, on what kind of aspect of leadership you are focusing on, because we only have 2 weeks. So we need to see that. For the service, that is another main component of SEALNet project. So I need to see how you're gonna carry out your service. So of course we're gonna do service, blah blah blah. But I need to see like what specific thing are you planning to do to give to the community. So for me, I say, and it can change, like these things can definitely change as you do more research, but you need to have a concrete idea as of this moment with all the information you have. So for me, I wrote, give LGBT participant the agency. So that is kind of broad. So you need to kind of break it down. So I also added on by helping them in building like a bubble tea house. So something very specific. And I mean, I say like many things that I did not accomplish, but it's good that you have an idea so that when things come along, you are able to adapt because you know really well what you want out of the service component, what you want to give. Same for the leadership. If you have any question on what I'm saying, please just ask because I feel like I'm talking a lot. But yeah, for the local partner, I feel like I'm going the wrong. Let me open up the official document. So for local partner, I mean, I think by now you already have an idea of what have partner like type of organization that you want. So list out all the organization that you see that seem to align with your goal and your vision. And at this point, it's ideal that you start connecting with them and start like making not agreement yet, but kind of talk with them about your project and kind of get the connection going. Because I remember that I connect with my organization back in December. When I have the idea, I go to talk to them immediately. So don't be afraid to reach out. You guys are all students, and I think the benefit of being student is that like people want to help you. So you don't be afraid to reach out, even if you don't have a clear idea in mind. Although I recommend that you do. I think the partner, if you show passion, if you show that you care about the vision that they have, they're gonna be more willing to like brainstorm with you, because that's kind of what happened to me. I didn't really have a very good idea what I wanted to do, but I reach out, I go to their organization, I talk to them, and some of them actually help me to like crystallize my idea. So yeah. Hold on, let me open up my thing. Can someone remind me what the next section is? I forgot.
I think sustainability, right?
Sustainability. Oh, okay. Oh, where is my God? Sustainability is pretty important. As you guys may have known, SEALNet really emphasize sustainability, and sustainability is something very broad. So we don't have like a structure that we want you guys to follow. You actually can identify sustainability by yourself as long as you have a very good idea of what it is. So for me, let's see. Where is it? Oh yeah. So for what I say, because my project was like a sustaining factor of the project. Before that, I was mentor for PV14. So I see my project as a continuation, although not very directly in terms of like the issue. 2014, it was street children. But for me, I work on LGBT issue. However, the sustainability factor that I see is that I continue to bring Cambodian students to Vietnam, just as PV14 did, to kind of strengthen the relation between the two countries through service to local community. So that is how I see sustainability in my project. And the sustainability that I want for my own project, what I envision is that I envision my mentee continue what's doing service, and some of them join and as I want LGBT participant in my project, and the mentee have that they have strong connection and that they continue to keep in contact, and yeah, so those are the specific things that you need to think about. Like after the goal, the SMART goal, okay, you lay out what you want to achieve, but it's important that you envision beyond that, like what impact, lasting impact are you looking for with those goals. So that is the sustainability. The next one is measure of success. So it's important that you not only come up with a goal, but you find way to track, to monitor, to evaluate your goal. And for me, it's like these things don't have to be super like technical. Like I know if some of you work in like technology or like in the professional field, as I do now, it can get very, very technical. Like you need numbers, you need like like just super complex technology to track result and stuff like that. I think for SEALNet, it's more intangible. Like what we are trying to give is like more in terms of spirit of volunteerism, of service leadership, of connection, impact. For the impact, I think you can definitely work it out with your partner and come up with like measurable way to measure the impact. But for me, it's pretty lofty. I mean, I say personal, like how I will measure is I will check up personally with all the members to make sure they are satisfied with their experience. Check to see how engaged everyone is on Facebook. How well the turnout is for the talent show that I put on in terms of how much money we raised, how much LGBT participant got on stage. Those are the things that I say for measure of success. So it's important that you know how you're gonna measure your success, because you're gonna all have to write a report after this to report to us how you did. So the next generation of project leader can learn from your how you did things, how did it work, how did it did not, and it's important also for you to, in terms of changing your goal, like remember the goal can be flexible, it can change. So by having method to measure your success, you can see that, oh, are you going on the correct path, or are you going not so well, that not on a very good path, that you need to change up your goal. So having some idea of how to measure your impact, your success, can help you to be more adaptable too. So for the budget, this one is, we have many templates from the other proposal that we sent you, and I mean it's pretty explanatory. You just have to adapt the template to your wherever you're trying to lead a project. So you two are from Cambodia, so the prices should be a little different now versus back then, or depending on the country, Vietnam or Cambodia or like some other country, and depending on the element of your project too. Like for mine, I have like a talent show that I need to think about. I have T-shirt that I need to think about. So those, it really depend on your context and the project, what you're trying to do with your project to able to craft out the budget. And it is recommended that you do the budget if you are from that country. So for you two, you are both doing the project in Cambodia. So I think it's easier for you to do the budget instead of the co-leader that is not from there. But yeah, it's very important that you don't try to kind of do the budget for the sake of it, because for me, I struggle a lot in terms of keeping up with the financial aspect of my project, because I kind of didn't really do the budget in a very mindful way. I just kind of, oh, you know, it's just a budget. I'm just gonna like do random number and like random thing for the co-president to see. It's very, very important later on in your project that you have a big picture of how you are spending the money, because we're gonna ask for the receipt back. We're gonna ask how did you spend the money, what leftover is there, how are you gonna use them. So the budget is very, very, very important. So if you or your core team member, someone in the project need to keep track of the financial of your project. Funding sources. You can totally go out of the SEALNet model. For the SEALNet model, we have the member raising money. Each mentor has to raise traditionally $500, but for my project, again, this is gonna depend on project and depend on the project leader too. That is the guideline that we set. For my project, I require member to raise $350 just because Vietnam is pretty cheap. So I didn't think it was necessary for member to raise $500. But I also outreach to more stuff. So I applied to like something at my school called the Mary Gate Leadership Endowment, and it gave me like $4,000. And I attempted to apply to the NYC Singapore, but that has been the funding resource for SEALNet project, but that did not somehow did not appear this year, so I couldn't apply for it. But me and my co-leader attempt to apply for the White Sally grant too. So know that the funding of your project is your responsibility. It's not going to be SEALNet responsibility. Of course, we're going to help you by like giving you resources on how to fundraise, connection. We can connect you with people. However, the total funding of your your project going to depend entirely on your team. It's your responsibility as project leader to not only set example of raising fund, but like really in order for us the project is happen. So it's very important that you keep the budget and how you will raise fund very strategically. Oh my God. The next one is gap that needs to be addressed. So we want you to think about the risk associated with your project. So for my project, it was LGBT. It was very sensitive. Just think about like, oh, what if we gonna be how is the public gonna respond to us if we try to publicize the issue? Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, okay. You were frozen.
Yeah, I was thinking about the risk that you need to think about, because like I don't know, it's risk. If you don't think about it, you cannot adapt to it. Even though like you may have a strategy that you can overcome the challenge very well, but as the leader of the team, to think about this thing beforehand, so that when it actually comes, you know how to guide people through it. You can give direction to your team member and not let the team like be freaked out. So it's important as leader for you to keep the risk in mind. And the next one for me, I did not do what the you a super long biography to kind of, we want because we do this project is very personal to both of us, so we see it as an opportunity for us to express ourselves through like writing long essays. So for me, I was like, why I answered, why do I want to be a project leader? Why am I passionate about this issue? What is my personal drive? what experience do I want a team member to have? These were the question that was not on the guideline last year, but me and you just did it anyway because we felt like it expressed the project best when we try to express our personal reasons behind it. And another important thing is that the mentorship style. So you need to think very strategically about how you want a mentor to help you, and that both of you know yourself very well. What role are you playing as a co-leader? In the co-leadership relationship, what role are you playing? What strengths do you guys have? And you can determine what kind of mentor you want. Because it's not like, for me, I didn't really think about this issue. I just thought that, oh, any mentor will be great. But that is true. As time on, you will probably find ways to work together. But it really helped that you have mentors fit in your plan. If you know what, just think about it very strategically. How can it contribute to you? Why that person? Think very strategically. And yeah, that is the basic bone of the project, and that is kind of my experience.
Liam? Oh, I think
Yeah,
he's
so I mean that's
okay.
Sakara, I think Liam's is done talking.
I am done.
Oh, he's good? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
sorry. I didn't. Alright. Okay, thank you for elaborating. Thank you for like explaining the proposal. And I don't know if like you mentioned about like the project leader like part, but I think it would be best if you guys could provide like a very like detailed description of like your background and like why you want your journey with SEALNet and why are you doing this project like personally and not just like through like the community problem that you discuss about, but it's more like a personalized reason that makes you want to become like a leader. And in terms of that, I think it's very important because once you have to go convince other people to do this project, you're not talking about just the community issue, but you're talking about you yourself from your own like standpoints of view. So you need to be able to identify the project with your own personal goals, and you really need to be able to articulate it when it comes to fundraising, because you you want to convince people to donate to you based on your own gain, but not just the community like as a whole. So a detailed description about, I think like one page of like each, like half a page of each project leader would be best for the proposal.
Mm-hmm. And I think to add on to that, I think it's very important that you think about why SEALNet. Like, what is it about SEALNet? Because there are so many models nowadays in Southeast Asia that you can carry out your ideas under. So it's very important that you think about element or like drive that you have, like what specific reason that you want to carry out your
We
idea
can't
under
hear you.
the SEALNet structure. Oh,
We can't hear you clearly.
okay. Maybe I need to move.
I can try saying what you said. Did you say that people should identify like why SEALNet, why they want to do this project through SEALNet? Because there are so many other service organizations, so it's important for you to say like why specifically are you doing this through SEALNet, and what's different about SEALNet? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
So any questions? Any questions about the proposal so far? No questions? Nothing? Don't be shy.
This is your opportunity.
I think one thing that I want to stress on the proposal is that like I think like don't be scared to like imagine and like go beyond like like the how do I say this? Say it properly. Like don't be scared to like give your ideas. Like even if you think it's not like as possible as one would think, but you should be able to think about it and like write it down in the proposal. Like the point of the proposal is that we want to see what you want to achieve, and it's not like what you can achieve. And as Liam said, like for his service component, there are a lot of things, and for my service component as well, there were a lot of things that we weren't able to achieve, and there were a lot of things that we were able to achieve that were mentioned in the proposal. But like, it doesn't matter. We're not gonna hold you accountable. We're not gonna like at the end of the day, we're not gonna make sure that everything your project is going to be exactly like the one you propose, and if it deviates from that, like we're gonna like criticize it or whatever. Like that's not the goal of this proposal. The goal of the proposal is to make sure that you are able to articulate your goals and your ideas in a way that like shows that you want to do this. Not that like whether you can do this or not. It depends on you, and like not just on you, but also like the your members and everything, like the measure of success. But like right now, we want to see like what you want to achieve.
Yeah, if I can add one thing, I think what's really important, I guess just seeing from the abstract, I know that you guys are not done like researching your project yet, but just from the abstract, I saw that sometimes people can be not so clear about their goals and like the problem that they want to solve. And I think it's really important to be specific. Just like I think Liam already mentioned this, but I just want to stress that it's important to not just make the proposal long, but to be really specific about your goals so that we can understand like what you want to do and how are you going to achieve it.
Can I add one thing? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think to add on to the specific goal, it's important that you guys sit down together on like, I know you guys are not in the same country, but just like go on Skype and really talk about the goal with the two leaders, because this proposal, I think, gonna set the whole tone for your co-leadership relationship. So it's important you to, I mean, there are some three co-leaders, but it's important that the co-leader do the proposal together and that the expectation of the project is clear, completely clear by the both leader. Like if I ask what is this project about for one person and they articulate it, and if I ask it to another person, they should articulate exactly the same thing, just like different wording. So it's important that you both are clear on what this project is about, that you both have a conversation beforehand, and not just like, oh, I'm gonna write the project, this person gonna write this part, I'm gonna write this part. I don't think that's a very good idea. You two need to talk together on what the overarching idea in order for you to break off and do those things, because it will be coherent. It's just gonna stem so many problems later on if you two are not clear on the proposal. So I really encourage that you guys have a Skype section and really talk about these, really articulate this idea in words, so that you two can have a really good understanding on the same page about the project.
Good so far. No questions. This is your chance, guys.
I have a question.
Yeah,
so is it okay if we are in charge of like different components, like one with leadership and the other with service?
Well,
like,
at this
yeah.
well, at this point, I don't think you need to actually plan out every single detail of what you want to do in terms of like both service and leadership, but at the same time, we just want sort of like a theme and sort of like a series like of activities that it doesn't have to be like extremely detailed, but it should be able to give us like an overview of what you're trying to do. So I would say that you can divide, but I think it's better to discuss as a team and come up with like strategies that you both of you think would like fit your project best. What do you have to say about this, Nim?
Yeah, I think to answer your question, it really depends on you and your co-leader. So like us president, we're not gonna control everything. No, we're gonna be there to support you, to support how you want to achieve your idea. So if dividing, if you want to be in charge of service and Kun want to be in charge of leadership, and that is how you see things like fit together best in order for you to carry out your idea, then of course we're gonna like be supportive of you, and you can totally do that. That is not within our control, but it just go back to the idea of you to really communicate clearly with each other why you want to divide, like what is the reason for that, how is that going to support you in terms of getting to your goal. So as long as you have clear communication with your co-leader about why you want to divide up your responsibility, I think that is fine. And think about the risk too, because like for me, I also did the same thing. I divide responsibility. I was in charge of the service component, my co-leader, the leadership. It's important that you think of the risk later on. What is the risk of dividing responsibility like that? So for me, the risk was unclear communication later on, because I didn't know what the leadership team was doing. My co-leader did not know what the service team was doing, because the service team like was entirely Vietnamese people, and like we work on like problem in Vietnam. So my co-leader was completely blocked off from that, and that is very dangerous later on when you are on the ground, because I feel like leader, you need to be very clear of what is happening in order to guide your members. So think of the risk. Yes, you can do that, but think of why you want to do that, and have your co-leader really agree on that too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Other questions? Wait, Van, right? Is it Van?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure your question, are you talking about dividing it like during the project when you're planning the project, or like right now, as in like right now when you're writing this proposal?
Yeah, I mean right now.
Like right now for writing the proposal?
Awkward. I mean, yes, I think, yeah, you can totally do that. I mean, but the key thing here is that even though you write the service, you need to be completely clear of what you are writing, and not like when I ask Kun in the interview, he need to know what the service component is about. So yes, you can like, of course, we're gonna divide tasks here. We're not gonna like, I'm not gonna write the whole entire proposal. Someone need to like do this part. But the key thing is just like you know what the other is writing and you agree with it, because that's gonna set the whole tone for your project. So it doesn't matter who write it.
Yeah, I guess just make sure that you guys have the same goal, and to brainstorm together on what to write, I guess. And also like after you write it, make sure that you guys read each other's writing, and yeah, just make sure that everything is like coherent.
Okay. Well, the planning, like just to be clear, like the planning of the workshops, leaderships, and like service like component like comes much later when you actually have your member and everything, because you do want to have them like participate in all like the planning processes. So in as like speaking for the proposal, I don't think you should go into like that much detail, like as I mentioned, like because if you were going to that much detail, it could have like more than 2 or 3 pages, and that is not what we want. I think what we want right now is like a very short description and like probably like a bunch of examples of things that you would like to do during your project, instead of like a whole detail and breakdown timeline, because that would come much later on, like during the pre-planning of the project. Good.
Thank you.
Any other question? You guys can
I
ask.
think we can move.
Oh.
We can move on to the next, like, because we have like a bunch of bullet points that I want to address, because these are the questions that people have been asking me. And the next one, I want to go into like how to contact the NGO in regards to like your project and how do you approach them and everything. So just to have an idea, like how many, like there are 4 people right now, how many of you have like already contacted like a potential local partner that you want to collaborate with for the project? Like, and don't be like scared to say no.
We haven't.
You
We
haven't?
haven't.
Okay. Okay, Chia-san, right?
Yes, I can contact 2 of them, but one of the organization, the owner of one organization is now in Singapore, so it's kind of hard to stay contact with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you want to share your experience a bit? So maybe I can, because seeing that like you're the only one who have done it, like not to put you on the spot or anything, do you want to share like what you have done in terms of like contacting them?
Yeah, why not? In fact, I have been working with volunteering jobs for quite a while, and I have known a few organizations that, and one of which is one of my target is the one that I used to go and bring the school stationery to the student there, and I saw the environment there, and back then I wasn't the one who initiated the project, someone else. So I start to um, uh, connect to those people and ask them to link me to the owner of the organization. And actually, they kind of very helpful because they know exactly the situation of the organization and whether or not they have enough space for what I want. And they actually link me to them, and I didn't really have a good talk with the owner of the organization, but I think they kind of get idea what we want to do, and that's it. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And yeah,
You're welcome.
I think like these are the kinds of reflections that we want to hear prior to like planning the project, because like it's really important, like you know like that when planning a project you have all these goals and you kind of assume that you know everything from like what you've read online, like some research and stuff like that, and you know like, oh, I want to do this because it's gonna work and this, but it doesn't work that way, like as most of the time, because you really do need to go into the organization and the people who are actually responsible for dealing with these issues. They know much more about the environment, and sometimes you go to them and you propose your idea, your grand ideas, which seem good in your head, but there are a lot of things that you don't know, like on ground, that could make these idea not like not that these idea are not going to be accomplished according to like circumstances that you didn't know prior to talking to the organization. So that's why we encourage everyone to talk to like a few potential local partners and sort of like get an image of like, okay, what is happening right now? Like this is what I understand from like your website and the research on like local news and like talking to people, but like what are you dealing with? Like what are you doing to have the community and like to have the target group that I'm also planning to have with my project? So I think before writing this proposal, it's really going to be beneficial for you and like your project as a whole if you have like a few contacts and like sort of like talk it out with the leader and of the organization and get their perspective on these issues, because they know more, like they are the people who you want to talk to find out about the issue that you want to tackle. And you don't really have to propose a project before talking to them. You could just email them and sort of ask them, okay, I am interested in helping your organization, like what is happening, what are the issues, and what are you doing to help them, what is your role in the community, and how do you see like your measure of success and everything. So definitely before like securing the partnership, you need I think it's important that you contact at least one or two organizations to get a larger image of what is happening. Do you have anything to add, Lim or Masha?
Yeah, just to add on to that, I think it's important that you go to the organization not with the mindset that you know everything, because you don't. Like, you are not, the issue that you are addressing is something maybe like I think the majority of you are not a part of. So it's important that when you talk to the partner that you show them that you are willing to learn and to listen to what they have to say because they are expert on the issue. So like I'm comment on many of your proposal and say that you need to do more research. And one way is to connect with the partner. That is not only like beneficial for you in terms of securing the partnership, but in a platform where you can learn more about your project and maybe change your goal accordingly because you will know more from talking to them. So I think they really like people who just willing to learn and willing to listen to what they have to say. And like for me, that is what happened for me. Like I came and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I don't know what this community needs. Can I talk to you and like get your perspective? What can be done? Because often for a nonprofit organization, they are very low on budget. So even though they have idea that they want to carry out, the budgeting won't allow them because nonprofit are oftenly like low on like capacity and stuff. So for me, I was like, oh yeah, we have the money, we have the human resource, we can totally carry out that idea if you think that is the best for the community. So that is how my project was done, is that I talk to people and like I get idea from the expert, from their insight, and I don't just like brainstorm with my member only because I think we are not from the community. I don't think that's very ethic to do because we are outsider. I feel like we need to incorporate their insider expert in our process as well. So that is the first thing. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the second thing is that for me, when I approach the partner, I approach in a very personal way. So like I'm not super professional, I'm very casual, and I feel like it's not my strength to try to be professional. So I just approach them like very, like, I don't know, like I just very casual with them because the issue that I'm working on, the nature of it allow me to kind of be personal because LGBT issue, like the circle is pretty small in Vietnam. We all want to help one another, and I have pretty personal connection to the issue. So it's very easy for me to talk about the issue in a very personal way that kind of draw the partner in. And when you make a personal connection and not a professional connection, even though professional can help too, if they cannot help you, they will connect you to other people. So like I connect to this guy who was in the US, who work on LGBT stuff and who like what I'm doing. He support what I'm doing, even though his organization cannot really help. Because we have that personal connection, he helped to connect me to this other organization, and that organization connect me to another organization. So I think connecting in a very personal way kind of goes a long way. Yeah. And like we have like SEALNet have resource on that in terms of fundraising. We have the concept called friend raising. So you guys can definitely check that out. It's everywhere. I feel like it's everywhere, but like it's like a very long document on fundraising that we have. Yeah, so could like you have it. If others want it, just message me and we will give it to you eventually. But just message me if you want to read more about that. So yeah, two things, just like listen to what the partner had to say. Don't pretend like you know everything. Everyone hate ignorant people. The second thing is approach them in a very personal way. Make personal connection, authentic connection. Yeah, those are the two things.
Yeah, I can share my experience like regarding like my first contact with the very first organization that I wanted to collaborate with. So the way I did it was very different because I wasn't in Cambodia and I didn't have a lot of connections with NGOs in my city to be particular. So I had to do online research, and what I basically did is that I wrote them an email, like a very professional email, talking about the prospect of this project that I want to do, and I'm going to be backed up by an organization, SEALNet, that is that has credential and has like experiences in terms of like supporting and endorsing community service projects around Southeast Asia before. So the way I did was like I contacted them, I told them the situation, explained to them what SEALNet is, what I'm trying to achieve, and why I think their organization is best for my project. And also it's always the most important thing to do in every email that you talk to them, to put a sentence that say that you're open to any criticisms and any concerns that they can raise from like what you've explained to them so far, because there can be times when your email could be like the way you describe like your target group, or the way you describe the issues in general can be very sensitive to the organization who has like very strong values in terms of advocating and protecting these communities. So you want to be sure that you're susceptible you're susceptible to making mistakes, and you want to show them that, and you're willing to learn. And that's like I think like of all like of all the emails that I've sent, I think that I make sure that I include that sentence in in all of them, just to ensure and to show the organizations that I'm willing to learn, and I don't know everything, but I know this much, and please let me know more. Like please correct me if I'm wrong, and please add like constructive criticism to what I have proposed. So yes, I would say add that sentence. Anything else you guys want to ask about contacting local organization? Remember that when you contact them, it's not always as easy. Okay, like I'm going to contact one organization, and then everything's gonna be like set up, like they're gonna agree, like, because it doesn't work that way. I had to contact 3 organizations and call, and it took me months before I could finally secure like a partnership with an organization. So I think it's important that you guys like take your time and like read about the issue and expect like rejections from these organizations, and especially when you're trying to propose to like very huge like NGOs, like very well accomplished, very well sponsored NGOs. You need to understand that they have like a tons of project on their hands, and whatever you're proposing to them, it needs to be very perfected, and it needs to be very innovative in order for them to even like consider like taking a look at your proposal. And you need to be extremely professional if that's the kind of group that you want to aim for. And I think like most SEALNet projects, I can speak for a lot of SEALNet projects that most of them tend to collaborate with small scale organization, because I think these organizations always need more money, they need more manpower, they need more help from like donors abroad and stuff like that, and they always looking for something that's like out of the box like SEALNet. So I think keep in mind that like it's always nice to, in terms of publicizing your project for fundraising and stuff, it's always nice to have like a good, like strong, well sponsored organization to behind your back. But at the same time, I think like having a local organization that's like local organizations, it doesn't mean that they're not doing like wondrous thing to the community. I think they're just as beneficial, if not more. And I think it's important to think about that, like when it comes to like deciding what partner you want to be working with. But just remember that like when you're working with a local organization, it tends to be more personalized, and they tend to have more time to talk to you. They dedicate more energy and more motivation in working with you, whereas like for big NGOs, it's going to be a lot of like professionality, and yeah, they don't have that personal touch to them. If you contact them, you'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, make sure you guys have backup and willing to adapt too, because different organizations have different like vision and stuff. So for me, like at the end, I didn't even collaborate with any organization. So like, so at the end, like we could not secure.
Know that.
We could not secure a contract with the organization until the very end, because it keeps dragging on. So it's very important that you prepare for it and you predict what will happen, so you can adapt to it. Because for me, like during the project, I go to sign the contract, but it didn't go well because of all the local like paperwork that we had to do, and of how like we didn't communicate very effectively with each other. Expectation did not meet. So like at the end, like I didn't have any partner. So yeah, be very prepared, guys.
Liam, I have a question for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I read your proposal and
Sorry. I just think of another thing. Oh, hi. For anybody who hasn't met me yet, my name is Satira. I was the co-leader with Sakata on Project Cambodia 2014. Sorry, I'm gonna let you get your question real quick. I just have one thing to add. I don't know if you guys said this already, but also when you contact organization, keep in mind that yours is a 2 weeks project, and a lot of organization is looking for a longer commitment to like anything that they're looking for volunteers who would like stay committed longer. Make sure you make sure you tell them like you have a plan for that answer. Like I think a lot of them, I know like when Zakata and I were talking, there was a lot, that question comes up a lot. So make sure you have like an answer to that so that you don't get caught off guard. Just saying. Yeah.
That's very important, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vang, do you have a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I read your proposal and in that you mentioned that you would provide consultation for the organization, right? So that
Wait, whose proposal?
My
Liam's
proposal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So did you bring that up with in your email or in your discussion with the organization? And what is their response?
Wait, so I would bring compensation for the organization?
Consultation.
Consultation.
What?
Consultation.
Consultation?
Yeah.
Yes.
What does that mean? I wrote that in my proposal. Consultation. Wait, which section is this in? Let me take a look again. I'm not sure what I was writing.
So I understand that you would provide some, comments or like provide a strategy
I know
so
what you
that
mean.
they
Okay.
better their service.
Yeah. Okay, I know what you mean. So let me explain what happened. So yes, originally, as Sakata mentioned, I intended to collaborate with a very small organization that in need of capacity building, and because I figured that my member and like we are come from abroad, we have like experience with management and stuff, so we would like write them a strategic plan on how to operate their organization as yeah, like you say, consulting, and we with that organization at all. So that plan is kind of didn't happen. Yeah. So, but what I had in mind is that that is my idea of sustainability, is that I want to help organization develop, not just like Satira say 2 weeks, but I want something that is more long lasting, and that's why I have that intention in mind. However, even though we didn't collaborate with that organization, we actually didn't collaborate with anyone. Just like very informal, like street youth leader and stuff. So, but however, I still keep the idea of sustainability in mind. So we collaborate on an idea that built like a bubble tea house, like a sustainable business plan for the community. So even though I didn't get to collaborate with that organization, what I had idea in mind still ended up getting carried out, but just under different circumstances and with different group. Yeah. However, if you want more like resources, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, if you guys want more resources on like strategic planning consultation, you can talk to like the leader of PV13. I think they did some consultation to their organization. That was the project you in. Wow. I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
if they did that. Yeah, I don't know if they did that ended up. But do you want to do something like that for your project too?
No, I'm just wondering if something like that like is brought is suggested to the organization. Is that a thing that they would like to, you know, is it is something they need?
Yeah, I know for the NPO field in Vietnam specifically, I think in Cambodia also, like in general, small NPO, they really need capacity building because most of them do the work out of their heart. Like they want to do the work because they want to do it, but they don't think like business do, like corporate do, very strategically, very visionary. So I think that is like I'm working on the NGO environment in Vietnam right now, and that is the need of the community collectively. So I would think that if you choose and if you talk to them, like have clear communication with them, like choose small NPO that have a need of these things, then yeah, I think like they really need and really appreciate your help actually, because most of them don't have business background or like have super high education. So I think if you know how, if you have a clear idea of what you want to do, how you want to carry that out and talk to them, I think they are more than willing. And most of them really need those things actually. I don't know in Cambodia how that works, but in Vietnam that is the case.
But is it a like sensitive thing to bring about to them? I see, like for example, I mentioned that your way of doing is not strategic, and you need something like that.
Yeah.
It could be. It could. However, I think coming back to the personal connection, if you are like really make a good personal connection with them, I think they would be more willing to share their problem with you. So like I know it could be something sensitive if like you don't know each other and they want to keep their status or whatever. But I think for me, when I talk to NPO and GO here in Vietnam, like they all of them are very big. They are not afraid to ask for help. They are not afraid to say that, oh, this is actually what I need right now. So it really depend on how you phrase the issue. So if it is within their need, if they actually need this and share it with you, then great. Then you can just like connect and like do it. But if it is not within their what they can see, that they think that they don't need this capacity building thing, but you think it needed, you need to say it very clearly why you think so. Like, and I'm assuming you would have to study the organization very well. Like you would have to know their history, their vision, how are they doing things right now, where are they going, and how that capacity building thing play into that. So if you know all those things, and if you can answer the why you need to have us build your capacity and explain it well, that they can understand you, and then I think that is fine. It just really depends on how you phrase the whole problem and how you talk about it. Is that clear?
Yeah, thank you.
These things can be tricky, but yeah, like we always here to help you if you have those specific problem that you want to consult with us, the co-president, and we can totally like help you out. And your mentor too, whoever that is.
Whoever that is. So any other questions about NGOs? No. Okay, we can move on to the next bullet. Um, I think we could talk a little bit about how do we divide up the service and leadership component, because that seems to be like the question that everyone has asked me, and everyone is kind of a little bit confused. And so for Sotira and my like for our project, we divided it into like two parts, like as well. But like we did it one day we did service, one day we did leadership.
Leadership.
Wait, or didn't we do leadership the first day? I thought we did.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean
we did.
it's bad to go into service right away because you need to
Yeah.
prepare your members in terms of what they're gonna see, what are we doing. You need to get them to know what they're working with first, instead of just throwing
Yeah.
them into an
Yeah.
organization.
Especially when you're working with an organization that's very sensitive about the issue and very protective of like their target
Yeah,
group.
and
You
ours.
need to really educate your mentee. It sounds bad, but you really do, because a lot of them will come in and they will not know anything. Like you think they do this because they live in the community, the same community, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them didn't. For my project, they
Um,
didn't even know the community existed. So it's like because for it was different for PC12 when I was a mentee, because the first day we did service and I could really see like the confusion and the, so like I wouldn't say ignorance, but like some comments that would have been uh, that could have been like more appropriate, like
mhm.
if the mentees were to have like understood, were to have like been like given like sort of like a introduction like to the organization and the target group before the start of the project. So I think it's always really important to meet on ground the very first day and talk it out and like do like a very like strong introduction to you, not just yourself, your project, but also the the target group that you're working with. And that's what we did. And so we did that, and then we did two service in a row, right? Two service
Mhm.
day, and then we did uh leadership and service, leadership and service. So it'd be like a day back and forth, day back and forth. And I think we have Saturday we have Sunday off.
Mhm.
Saturday we have like half of Saturday off. So
Mhm.
yeah. How,
Yeah,
William,
and
how, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and this is how I think it's very important. It's very dependent on the organization you're working with, especially if, like, as you're working with a school, because their student needs to study and that comes first. So your schedule have to be flexible. You can't. I mean, this is one of the issue where Sakata and I were like not always agreeing with each other too. When we planned a project, we were always like, how many service day do we have? And I would be like, oh, I want like 9 days, when that was out of like all 14, when that was kind of not, that was not achievable with the organization. So this is one of the issues that you really need to be clear about with the organization. So, and keep in mind what the organization you're working with too, because like I said, if there's a school, then they have higher priorities. And also, what was I gonna say? Oh, in terms of what Sakata just said, I mean, there's a difference between knowing the issue around your community versus dealing with the people who have been experienced these issues, who have experienced violence and trauma. Obviously, we're all not certified to talk about it, but I think a sensitive training or an orientation of some kind would prevent any uncomfortable situation for them or for us and all the parties involved. So just
So what we did was we invited the organization, well, what is he called? I don't even know.
man, he's a
Organizational
manager.
manager, organizational manager of the organization of the NGO that we work with, to talk, to give like
Mhm,
a 1 hour introduction of his organization. So I think
mhm,
like who else would do a better introduction of the community than the expert who's lived and worked there for like a long
mhm,
period of time. And I think that was really helpful, and he really did raise like a lot of issues, such as like, because like our project we work with a lot of like a lot of children who's experienced like violence and like trauma, domestic abuse. So we really emphasize on letting our member and our mentees know that it wasn't okay for them to try to like get these like kids to like talk about their experiences. It's more of like creating a
mhm,
space where these kids feel like they want to share. when there's a discussion, instead of like keep asking them like repeatedly about like what happens, like trying to like dig out stuff of them, like so like stuff like that, like the general little gist that you need to know about like when you need to deal with local partners.
I think to kind of give, like they talk about like in detail of what needs to happen on the ground. I think the question, how should you divide leadership and service? This thing, you need to think about that on a very broad term also, like in the proposal. Like we have the leadership and the service section, but you need to think very critically because we have 2 weeks. Depend on your goal. You're gonna try to see which aspect of leadership you're trying to emphasize, which aspect of service you're trying to emphasize. Are they gonna be equally emphasized in your project? Which one gonna be more? Which one are gonna be less? You need to think about all those things and relate it to your goal because all gonna depend on your goal. So like for my project, I did not think about this at all. So when we get on the ground, it was super messy because I didn't know what my priority was in terms of, am I delivering leadership? Is that my priority? I wanted to do service, but I couldn't do that because we had some trouble with local partner communication. So I didn't have as much service as I wanted. So how am I gonna subsidize
Yeah, we can hear you.
much is that? Is it gonna be a week and a half? You cannot hear
Yeah, we
me?
can't hear you. You need to repeat.
Oh
Leo,
my
turn
god.
off your
Everything?
video. Your internet
Yeah.
is bad.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So I was saying how you need to think of leadership and service very critically in terms of which like how much leadership are you going to emphasize in your project? How much service you're going to emphasize in your project? Are they going to be equal, or are they going to one going to be more than the other? Which one is more important? And this all relate to your goal. So for me, for my project specifically, my goal, one of my goal, I don't remember very well, so I'm just going to make up something. My goal is to create a space where people can be themselves. So that is like the end goal of my project. And okay, so I'm going to look at, okay, leadership. We need leadership. We need the mentee to learn about leadership, to learn about connecting with others and teamwork, because all these things are going to allow them to be more empathy, and that will create a space for us to be ourselves. We need to provide service, because through providing service, we allow others to be inclusive in our space. And that is important because it's not only important for the LGBT community, it's important in teaching them to remember how to empathize with others, and that will create a space by thinking of the goal, what you want, and then looking at the goal, looking at your vision, how should leadership and service be placed into your whole project. Yeah, I think that is very important in terms of guiding you on the ground, because on the ground many things can happen. So for my project, I really want to do the service aspect as much as possible. However, that was my priority. However, because the situation, we could not do as much interaction with the LGBT participant as I have hoped. So when I have the priority, I know that I still want to keep doing service. I don't want to swing to the leadership. I was like, okay, so we're gonna do something called indirect service. So when we cannot meet the LGBT participant, we're gonna get together and like do indirect service. So like we put on a talent show, we pour our effort in like decorate the talent show, and things like that. So yeah, it's important that you think critically about the two aspects and how that fit into your goal to set your priorities.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's great. And I think Sakata and I we talked a little bit about that too, but we were like holding the idealistic thinking of like, oh yeah, we'll prioritize leadership and service the same way, when I don't no, but it didn't turn out like that, and this is what my point is, which is to anticipate what the reaction to each day and each component is going to be. So naturally on my project, we both have leadership and service component, but the service component was so much more attractive to the mentee and mentors alike. It was
Really,
exhausting.
everyone.
It was exhausting, yeah. It was frustrating and very, very challenging from the very first day. But it was very, very attractive in terms of participation provoking. People were really excited to go through service, and like having leadership the next day, people were exhausted. So it's good to balance out, I think, and anticipate your team members' reaction. Obviously, this is something that you guys would have to think more down the line, but just putting it out there so you guys can think about it if you are like writing your schedule or something. So yeah.
Any question so far? We talked a lot.
Have you? Oh yeah, I have some question from one of the participants who cannot join. Let me pull it up on.
Okay. We can talk while you're pulling it up. We can talk a little bit about.
Yeah.
Wait, what was it? It was just in my head. What? Wow. Wait, give me 1 second. Oh, core members. Core members. For Satira and I and my project, we didn't have a core member.
And didn't have any, yeah.
We didn't have any, and I think like I wouldn't say it's a bad idea, but I always think that it's nice to have like a few people on ground, especially if you're not on ground to help out. And if you want to discuss about the role of your core members in your proposal, like the team structure, because you do need to let us know what kind of structure that you want to have for your project, and
yeah,
please go ahead and include it in the proposal.
Just a note though, we didn't have core member, but Sakata was on ground like a month, 2 months, right? Or a month and a half? I forgot.
2 months.
Yeah, he was already on ground and in contact with the organization and everything before the project started, which is why the need for a ground member, not to say we don't need it anymore, but it was reduced significantly, and we could run by with it. But especially if both of you are not on ground before your project starts, make sure you have core member on ground organizing everything, including like booking hotels or
it's gonna be
accommodation
so hard.
and stuff like that. Yeah,
it's gonna be really hard. Like the little things are going to be your worst nightmare. Like getting the materials, like shopping, and it's going to
like
my
transportation.
God. Like
and
you
stuff
think
like that.
it's as easy as like perfecting your ideas from the project, but it's not. So if you were to include your core members, make sure you specify their roles, their names, and like make sure that like they are on the same board with you, why they want to join this project, and not just like a recruit member according to like your friendship. And if you like, it's perfectly fine to have a person who's like just doing logistics. Okay, this person is not going to be involved in the project, but he's doing all the logistics. He's and that's perfectly fine. But if you were to involve someone in like the whole project like process, then you need to like make sure that you guys are on the same board, because you don't want to like, once the project gets accepted, you don't want to have the need to like start firing people.
And like I just want to add on, it's very important because as leader of the project, you need time to really think strategically about the project and not care about the logistic stuff. Like you don't want to spend time to like do logistic stuff. You need time to like observe your member and like make sure everyone is focused and that we are getting to our goal. You need time to do that. So like that is one of the need of you having core members, for them to help you in terms of logistics stuff. And yeah, I agree with Sakata. Be very specific when you invite them on board, that you don't invite them because they're your friend or you think it's going to be fun, but invite them because they serve some purpose to you, and you need to know exactly what that is. So again, I did not do this well for my project. I just invite people on and that did not turn out very fun at the end. We did not have very clear communication. I expected that they would help me emotionally, but they did not. They stressed me out so much during my project. You really don't want that. Yeah. Just think
Oh,
very
wow.
critically and strategically about what.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. If no one gonna have question, I'm gonna turn to question.
Wait, Liam. I have a question from two. She
Mhm.
cannot join it.
Mhm.
Like a participant from finance.
Fire away.
She asked about the legal guardian when conducting the internet project in foreign country.
Legal
Wait, what?
guardian?
Guardian.
Like, do we need to like do we need do we need to go to any NGO that had to be like legal guardian when conducting SEALNet project in foreign country?
I don't get that.
What does that mean?
I don't get this first.
Wait, but we have like our member have to sign some contract, right? Didn't it?
Yeah.
And
Like
possibly if they're like, oh hey Gabby, hi, looking good and shiny. I think possibly did they like legal guardians in terms of like if they're under 18 then they can't sign? Is that what you meant? Or I don't know what that means. Hello?
I'm not sure what her question. It's not my question, but from other people's question. She cannot join the webinar because like her connection is so bad.
Well, at least speaking from Cicadas, well, we can like once we get into it, we can go into a more specific understanding of what that question means. But at least between Cicada and I, we didn't need to do any of that. We didn't need to. It wasn't. There was no legal guardian thing. I don't know about any other projects.
I think that her question is that, for example, if the project happened in Philippines and she's from Vietnam, is that she need to ask like anything like officially stuff to conduct a project in another country? I think that's what she wanted to ask. So like for example, the project is like youth is coming from Cambodia, so does he need to like fill a form and stuff to go? I think that the question.
I mean, I think that is something very specific in each country, and I do not know what law the Philippines has. But if that is something, it sounds like a very specific problem. So one that like I think we can put off, especially with the board or like our alum in Philippines, because like the co-president, even though we kind of support you in terms of legal matters, we can provide you with like document, register document to prove that the project is legitimate or whatever. I think in terms of can she conduct a project in the Philippines, we would have to look into that further and get our alum involved. So yeah, I can talk to her later.
Yeah.
I think we should talk to you.
Okay, if anyone don't have another question, I have this question from Jin Tang from Malaysia. So the question is, for the final project proposal, I need to write everything in very detail. Can the change be done after I submitted the proposal, like the day and the tentative budget?
Okay, do you guys want to take this question or should I?
Can you repeat the question? I didn't catch it. Sorry.
For the final project proposal, I need to write. Do I need to write everything in very detailed? Can the change be done after I submitted the final proposal? For example, the date or tentative budget.
So given those two examples, by the time your proposal is given to us, it's going to be late already, and I really don't think that you should change the date. I am
That the
yeah.
date is not is
The date
something that
do
should
not
be.
change the date. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like you have to like publicize for like your members and stuff, right? And their availability and applying to your project depends on that.
And
So
also,
don't
like, the
change the
date
date.
is the difference by 2 days, or is it difference by 2 months? Because if you want to change a project from June to August, it's just
Yeah.
gonna be like, what?
Yeah.
But if it's like by 2 days or 3 days, I don't think like that like really matters as much. But
Yeah.
definitely like try to finalize the date before you turn in your proposal.
Mhm.
And the
Budget.
location too.
Yeah.
Say,
So
oh, I
I
want to do the project in Indonesia instead of Vietnam, just
Mhm.
because after like, you submit your proposal. So
Yeah. And budget-wise,
also the
yeah, sorry.
we can't hear you, Liam.
I can't hear Liam.
Liam.
Me neither.
oh, go ahead. Oh, still.
I cannot
Liam,
hear
we can't
you.
hear you.
Talk about your point.
Oh yes, it's back.
Wait, go repeat, Liam. Liam? Yeah, he's
Liam.
gone. Yeah, we can talk. We can talk a little bit about tentative budget. I don't think, like, to be honest, like, I don't want to say this, but I don't think like budget is gonna be as important as other things in the proposal. Like, at least that's for me. Like, I'm not gonna look at the budget as critically as other components of the proposal, because it's really hard. I understand that it's really hard to like discuss and like think about budgets with your co-leader like before you actually have any sort of like strong sense of like the organization and the members and everything. So I would just say like give us like a very rough estimation. I think we should be uh pleased with that, but try to understand that once you make this rough estimation, you're also speculating like the kind of things and the of everything you're going to be spent on this project. So for example, if I estimate my project to be $8,000 and I'm only doing this I'm doing this at like my own like a city that is only housing like 20 people. So basically you're speculating that you're going to spend a lot of money on like hotel and food and stuff like that. So just like your rough estimation will be sort of like the scale and the standard of your project basically. So just make sure that like when you set up these scales and expectations and like and standards, you need to understand that you also need to raise the money for it. So yeah, just keep that in mind.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with Sakata. I think at this point, all you guys can do is estimate and see, like, rough estimation, but just make sure they're not entirely just off base. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, we're all Southeast Asian. We
Yeah.
know,
Like,
we
yeah,
kind of know how you're gonna spend it. I mean,
like
you
don't
don't
tell
have,
us you're spending like
yeah,
$2,000 on your project and then you end up spending 8,000. Like that's way off base. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like
Just don't be too off base. Just don't to be honest, every typical SEALNet project spend around at the same amount. So
mhm.
it's like always around $5,000 to $6,000, around that area. So yeah, don't. It's yeah. Just do
Liam,
the
you
best
want to
you
add?
can. I guess that's my like thing. I don't really have any specific, but yeah.
Liam and Masha, you have anything to add?
No, I think it's good. I don't
Liam, I
know
guess
if we can talk or not.
I don't think Liam can talk right now. So
Okay, he doesn't have anything to add. That's what he said.
okay. Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay. Oh, he's back. Yay.
Oh,
Okay.
Hey, guys.
So I guess we covered a lot, and the meeting has almost been like it's almost 2 hours since we start. It's almost been 2 hours since we started. So I guess we can like dedicate the last 20 minutes to questions, like any questions regarding the proposal, because right now you want to be asking questions about the proposal. I know that answers why we go a lot into details to pre-planning and like joining project, but that's because we want to make sure that you know what to incorporate into your proposal. But please, like for 20 minutes, like please come up with questions. Like even like the mentors and the mentee, if you want to address anything regarding the proposals, now is your chance. And yeah, go ahead. Guys?
I don't hear anything. Somebody talking?
No, nobody's talking.
Oh, okay. I thought somebody was talking.
Do you guys have any other question?
Feel free to say no too. It's fine. Don't like beat up yourself about thinking about a question. If you really don't have question, say no. And if you do, we're always here. So
Yeah.
and I mean like
Online,
after this you can
Facebook.
just shoot us an email or something.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think that your question is going to be applicable to like all of them project leaders, then just post in the Facebook group and one of us will answer, if not all. So that other people can see, possibly. But if you want to be more private, like, we all have emails, so, yeah.
Anything you guys want to address in terms of the proposal? Like, what you guys are looking for and stuff?
Or
like, anything in general. Like, for me, I'm looking for, like, something, like, very concise. Brevity is key, guys.
Oh, brevity is appreciated.
We will really appreciate it if you guys don't go on and on about stuff. Just get to the point and talk very briefly.
Yeah.
We only have, I think, we have like 1 week to evaluate your proposal, and we're gonna get like 5 to 10 proposal, and hopefully people know that they need to be concise with their writing. I appreciate proofreading. I really do. And I think you guys should like take time to write it and like make sure you guys proofread and.
Wait, I can't. Sorry. Hi guys,
detail
give me a sec. What are you using the vacuum cleaner for?
What?
Oh, I can take the hallway if that's like okay. Yeah, because I was gonna use it on all the hallways. So just what's up?
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah.
Liam?
No, I just wanted to add for like the brevity part, try to have topic sentences.
Oh.
So like we're gonna read a lot of proposal and it's gonna be long.
Yeah, those
so it's good for you to let us know.
Sorry, talk.
Like at the beginning instead of just like talking about things and then like having the conclusion at the end or something. Just so that we know clearly what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know like it's hard because like you guys don't have organization or anything paired up with already, but at least give us something to go on. Like give us a theme or how you're gonna change things. Don't yeah, like, cause like obviously before you look for organization, you already have an idea of what organization you want to work with or what vectors you want to change. For example, if it's education or if it's theater or arts and stuff like that. So give us the specific. We all know you guys all want to help. That's I mean, I know like I'm like the bad person now because when I was applying, I hated it. I'm like, ugh, why? But, now we just like because we actually need to know what you want to in order to know if it's what SEALNet wants.
Personally, I'm going to be focusing a lot on your biography about yourself and why you want to do your project in particular. So try your best to be very brief, but at the same time very informative about yourself in regards to leading this project that you want to do.
Personally, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So for me, I've been looking at like how your project match up with SEALNet value. So I suggest that you do research, like go on the website, see what SEALNet mission is, see what SEALNet vision is, what value we now and like how your project will help SEALNet achieve those things. So yeah, that is for me. Because I think like I didn't think about that at all last year. So, and I mean, it turned
Okay,
out
Liam.
I was like the mentor,
That's okay.
but I think it's good that you know why you're doing it with SEALNet. Like, what is it about SEALNet that you know, like, why do you use SEALNet? Why not like, what is an organization in Cambodia that you serve as project? You know, JCIA.
Yeah. Don't talk about it.
Like, yeah, like why SEALNet? Like, it need to make sense.
CIA.
Just yeah, the executive just to be like emphasizing just to emphasize the executive summary again. When we read it, I think like we can agree that we want to know like by reading the executive summary, it needs to hook us into like your project and like it needs to like let us know like okay, this is what he's trying to do, like we get it, and then we want to go on and like read it in detail because you don't want to be too detailed or like too brief with the executive summary. So give us like 2 paragraphs, I think, on like your project, like what is the issue and what is happening to to these problems and what do you want to do to help. We've sent out examples, right, Liam?
Yes, we
We
have.
have sent out
Okay.
example.
Okay.
However, you can check out more example if you want on our page, wiki page,
PDA.
We have a Wikipedia.
SEALNet.mit.wiki or something like that. Yeah, that's
Something like that.
We'll send it. We'll send it.
We'll send out an email to you
many
guys.
proposals
like
on there,
that.
including mine. And also, guys, be creative. Like, we want to see your enthusiasm and your creativity and your commitment. So for me and you, we did like 7 color of the rainbow. So yeah, just like be creative and expressing your idea.
Okay.
But that fit your theme. You were doing LGBT, so it's like fitting to have the rainbow.
Yeah, but I didn't have to do that, but I did it.
Oh wow, you're taking the credit.
Okay. Any other questions? Any last word before we?
Is the deadline still the 30th of November?
As of right now, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't see any reason to change the deadline.
Mhm. Mhm.
Any other questions? Last word? Concerns? Comments?
Yeah. Otherwise, I have to go clean my house. I'm getting like bitchy eyes from people. We're trying to be
don't
like.
be scared to like. Just don't be scared to like express like the way that you want to tackle this issue and don't like feel constrained of like circumstances that could not be foreseen and stuff like that. So just make sure you be very expressive with what you want to do, and we can always address those issues later. All right.
Feel free to contact us on Facebook
Yeah.
or email.
You have the email. When you send out the email to SEALNet President, is it President, Co-President SEALNet? What was the email, Masha?
Yeah,
The one that
co-presidents
distributes
something.
SEALNet.org. Yeah, when you send out an email to that email, it's gonna distribute it to all 4 of us. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna call off this webinar. Thank you guys so much for attending, and thanks to your co-president for sharing the experiences.
Yeah.
And good luck.
Yeah.
And
Just make
let
sure
me know.
you have to know just one last. You have to know what you want, and like what you want us to see, but you don't have to actually figure out everything yet. If this makes all you nervous, then don't be. Yeah. Just tell us what you want. What you really
Tell us
want.
Also, this webinar will be broadcasted, so you can always if you want to hear us talking again, you can always go to
Because you love
YouTube.
the sound of my voice. So, you know.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for attending.
Thank you for your time.
Good luck.
Good luck,
Looking
guys.
forward to reading.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Luck.